We just got news that Jehovah's Witnesses are officially resuming their door-knocking activities. They stopped knocking on doors for a couple years because of the pandemic. They started a letter-writing campaign instead, and they genuinely, deeply believed the end was right around the corner. They were convinced they were never going to knock on doors again because the four horsemen of the apocalypse were arriving.
The spread of this disease is distressing, to be sure. But we're really not surprised to see the world in the grip of such pestilence, are we? Jesus made it clear at Luke 21:11 that pestilence would be part of the sign of the last days. And in Revelation chapter 6, the ride of the fourth horseman includes mention of deadly plague.
But lo and behold, here we stand 2 years later, despite their very specific belief that the end would be here any second.
So the events unfolding around us are making clearer than ever that we're living in the final part of the last days, undoubtedly the final part of the final part of the last days, shortly before the last day of the last days.
So I figured we'd take a look at some Caleb and Sophia videos, Jehovah's Witnesses animated kids cartoons, since they're starting up their door knocking again. Let's get into it. Check out the announcement on the Jehovah's Witness website. It says, on May 31st, 2022, the governing body informed all branch committees that they may now resume all forms of public witnessing with the exception of the door-to-door ministry. Each branch committee will examine the local situation in its branch territory, taking into account any governmental restrictions, and will soon provide direction to the congregations. We rejoice that we have additional opportunities to share the good news of God's kingdom with our neighbors. As far as I can tell, what that means is that they're giving up the letter-writing campaign that they were doing when they were in the heart of the pandemic, and they're going to start going to gas stations and taking their little carts out to street corners to proselytize to people there. It sounds like they're probably going to resume door-to-door stuff on a case-by-case basis. If the congregation feels that it's safe and it doesn't violate any local laws, then they'll do it. It's an optical nightmare too, so they're probably trying to ease into it gradually. Anyways, Jehovah's Witnesses released a brand new Caleb and Sophia video about knocking on doors. In retrospect, it was probably intentionally timed to coincide with the announcement.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I have a great video about God's promise for the earth.
Oh, sweetheart, thank you. I'm not interested.
And you can read the Bible and watch videos.
Really busy, kid.
Can we take a break?
How about we each try another house?
Oh, hi, Chuck.
I've already covered this in another video, which is linked in the description, so give it a watch if you want to see the whole thing. But they've been pushing kids to do their manual labor of door knocking for years. The newest video is just the latest example of it. This one is a Dora the Explorer style video, intended to get kids excited about working for this organization for free, and it came out years ago.
What do you need for service? Very good! You need your Bible for service. Do you need anything else? Kids, can you help Sophia? Which one does she need for service? Magazines! That's right, kids!
Not only do they try to extract free labor from everybody associated with the organization, but they try to control every part of your life. Take a look at this one, Lesson 35, the best use of time.
Whoa, awesome! It's so shiny.
You two are really excited about it.
There are a lot of fun things you can do. And important things too.
Jehovah's Witnesses can't just let things be. They can't just let people enjoy life and do whatever. Every aspect of your life, every item you own, should be used to serve Jehovah in some way. Even iPads. You should always find some angle to make it about Jehovah.
However, before we let you use it, we need to establish a few rules.
Aww, rules?
Yes, kids. Because too much of a good thing can become a bad thing.
What do you mean?
A wise man once said, "There is an appointed time for everything." But if you are always looking down at your device, you can lose track of time. Or miss beautiful things happening around you.
The interesting thing about this is the fact that they're selective about this belief. I guess I can agree to some extent. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. You need to make sure you're making time for homework and cleaning and all that. But Jehovah's Witnesses categorize the work you're supposed to do for them into a special category, which is both fun and required work. So there's no limit to how much Bible you can read. There's no limit to how much time you spend knocking on doors or reading Watchtower magazines. You're supposed to study. I grew up in it. Things are very different now than they were when I was a kid. But I remember how much was involved in maintaining my status in the congregation. Actually, that's probably not a good description. It wasn't just about maintaining status. It was about not losing my friends and family permanently. If I wanted to continue to have a relationship with them, I had to keep up with the requirements every week. If I fell behind, they'd start to think I was slipping spiritually, and they'd back away. My relationship with them was directly correlated with how much work I did for Jehovah. Before we continue, I want to mention something. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me in a few ways. First, there's Patreon. That's probably the best way. But you can also check out my other YouTube channels, Telltale Unfiltered, where I debunk long-form videos like the Jehovah's Witness TV show or Kent Hovind's Creationist Seminar series, or my Fireside Chat channel, where I talk about how religion is inserting itself into politics right now. Of course, I also have Teespring and Etsy, so you can check that stuff out too. It helps a lot. All the links are in the description, as always. Anyways, as I was saying, when I was a kid, Jehovah's Witnesses absolutely monopolized every spare second of my life. By design, I had to spend at least an hour reading through the Watchtower magazine in preparation for the Sunday meeting, underlining answers to the questions they put in the books, and in some cases, even practicing which answers I wanted to give when the question and answer part of the service came up. I usually did that on Fridays after school. If I was a good Jehovah's Witness, then I would read the entire Watchtower, not just the part I was required to read. Saturday, I'd go knocking on doors. I got up at 6:30 a.m., got ready, went to the Kingdom Hall at 8, went through the service meeting, then went out in car groups at 9 and knocked on people's doors until noon. We got lunch, then hit it again from 12:30 to 3. After service, we'd all meet at the Kingdom Hall again to clean it every week. That took an hour or two. I might get home at 5 p.m. The next day, Sunday, I got up at the same time, 6:30. Get ready and arrive at the Kingdom Hall at 9 because I want time to associate with the brothers before the meeting starts at 10. The meeting went from 10 to 12, then we'd go back in service from 1 to 4 p.m. Go back home and study for the next meeting, which was on Monday at 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday were burned up just like that. I didn't have a single day off. Very few Jehovah's Witnesses ever do. So I'd go to school on Monday, and when I got home, after finishing homework, I'd get ready for the book study, which was a smaller group of Jehovah's Witnesses. The congregation was split into about 6 different smaller groups, and we met at each other's houses once a week on Mondays. We'd arrive early, of course, to allow time to associate with the brothers. After the hour-long meeting, we'd do more associating. These operated like sleeper cells. When the government is looking for us, as is prophesied by the governing body, our sleeper cells will activate and we'd work together to continue spreading the good news, so we had to know these people well. Go home, go to bed, and do it all again the next day. After school, Tuesday was spent preparing for the Wednesday meeting, reading the Kingdom Ministry and whatever other materials I needed to study before it started. Wednesday was the same thing. Go home, do my homework, get ready for the meeting, and show up early to associate with the brothers. I was stuck in this cycle for my entire life. I finally escaped it when I was 18, and I haven't spoken to my mother since. Not really. She's completely cut off contact at this point. There have been a couple of family events that required we speak, so I talked to her then, but the relationship was destroyed the moment I left the religion. As I said, this religion monopolizes people's time, especially children. Not only did I not have the time to hang out with anybody I knew from school, but it was banned anyways. I should be associating with the brothers, not worldly kids from school. Unfortunately, not every congregation has many kids in it. If there aren't any kids in the congregation, I guess you just don't have any friends. So my point is that Jehovah's Jehovah's Witnesses intentionally set out to monopolize people's time with propaganda so they don't have time to think things through logically. The moment the brainwashing is unplugged, people tend to start connecting dots. So Jehovah's Witnesses put a concerted effort into making sure people don't connect those dots. They want to make sure people don't have the time to even disconnect from the religion and the requirements they impose on you. Again, if you drop the ball, even for a second, the congregation members, the only friends you've ever known, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, your parents, will never speak to you again. It's set up that way intentionally. This Caleb and Sophia video we just watched was a gentle reminder that you should be using technology to immerse yourself into the religion even deeper, as deep as you can. You don't want to make Jehovah sad, do you?
So what if you disobey Jehovah and play with toys he doesn't like? Do you think Jehovah will be happy or sad?
Sad.
Yeah. Do you want Jehovah to be sad?
No! I don't want Jehovah to be sad with me.
No, I don't want Jehovah to be sad with you either.
All that being said, things are a little different now than they were when I was little. For example, I think the sleeper cells still exist, but they don't meet every Monday anymore. Now I think they do the book study as a congregation on Wednesday. But don't worry, you can bet they've filled those time gaps with different requirements.
Remember, time is a gift from Jehovah. We should use it wisely. Isn't that right, honey?
That's right.
You owe Jehovah every second of your life. He didn't have to create you. He did it because he wanted you to bow down and worship him with every second you have. And by Jehovah, they mean the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. They're interchangeable. Anyways, let's take a look at another Caleb and Sophia video. This one is called Help Others.
Everything in our power to provide the needed relief aid to our dear brothers in these affected areas. We love you very much, and thank you for tuning in for this update.
I wish we
This
could
is
help.
JW Bryant.
Me too. Oh, I have an idea.
So the video starts out with Caleb and Sophia watching Jehovah's Witnesses TV show, JW Broadcasting. Then it shows them trying to find some way to give the Jehovah's Witnesses governing body money. Remember, this is a kids program designed for children. They're depicting the children taking pennies out of their piggy bank and giving it to the governing body. Does it get any lower than this? I'm having trouble imagining a worse situation, as if the governing body needs Caleb and Sophia's pennies. Well, I guess the governing body is in worse financial shape than usual right now. They're trying to recover from a couple of lawsuits they lost a while back. Courts determined that they had to pay out millions because they didn't adequately protect the children in the congregation from... So I guess this makes sense. They're probably trying to cover the cost of lawsuits by getting children to donate their pennies. Keep watching.
What is it, sweetie?
Can I give this to our brothers affected by the hurricane?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to the brothers affected by a hurricane. In 2018, they had to pay $35 million to the victims who alleged the organization failed to report a congregation member to the police, which gave them the opportunity to continue to offend. That's just one example. There have been many, many more. Come to think of it, that's around the time this Caleb and Sophia video came out, isn't it? What a coincidence.
What is it, sweetie?
Can I give this to our brothers affected by the hurricane?
Of course you can. We'll put it in the contribution box on Sunday.
My piggy bank was empty. I guess I can't help.
There are many things you can do to help. First, you can save some money for next time. Second, you can think about them and pray for them. You know, Jesus felt the same way when he was here on earth. Do you remember what he said when he helped the leper?
I want to!
Yes, he did what he could to help others. Just like you. That makes us very proud of you.
Deeply crooked. There really is no low. The lawsuits were intended to punish the governing body for their piss-poor decision-making. And what did it do? Who did it affect? The members of the organization, of course, who are largely completely unaware of the allegations and lawsuits happening. Or if they are aware of them, they think they're trumped-up charges. The world trying to take a swing at good people. At least we can say the victims received restitution. It's better than nothing. Anyways, needless to say, the Jehovah's Witness organization is a destructive force in society. society. And now, they're going door to door again, trying to drag in new members. So here's my tip if they come to your door. Do not mistreat them. I was a door-knocking Jehovah's Witness once too. I was mistreated. It only locked me deeper into my beliefs. The members are largely unaware of what's happening at higher levels, like the outside world is. They're forbidden from looking at critical information. Our best weapon against this organization is information. If we want to help pull people out, be kind to them. Treat them with respect. The organization uses their persecution complex to make them think everybody in the world is evil and hateful until they join the religion. Break that stereotype. They have an idea of how the world works. Contradict that worldview, and it might help them think through the propaganda. And if you really don't want to deal with them, if you just don't want them knocking on your door in the first place, you can get one of these signs I sell on my Etsy shop. It's the top link in my description and pinned comment. It's a snarky sign, but it should keep them at bay if you don't feel like you have the time to try to deprogram somebody. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. Thanks for watching, guys.